Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donnelly Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us and listening to us every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hi, I'm Susan, and I'm here with Randy Donnelly. We are the owners of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, and we're here today to help you determine if you have any valuable items at home that you may want to sell at auction. Good morning, Randy Donnelly.
Hey, Susan. I want to tell everybody out there, Susan today told me that I was responsible for the content of this show today.
Here we go.
So get ready for the next
interesting stories that I don't know about.
1 hour of dead air time.
No, because the first thing I want to talk about is Halloween. Of course, Today is Saturday, the 28th, and all of the Halloween parties and contests. I think we got invited to 10 different events between contests and parties. So Wednesday night, as you know, I was in a Halloween contest, and I got first place.
Again, she wins. Don't invite her. If you have a contest, don't invite Susan because she wins first place all the time.
I do.
And
I think of the costumes at the last minute, and guess who has to help me put it together at the last minute?
Yeah. Okay.
But thank you for that, Randy. I just wanted to tell you thank you for helping me with the costume because I came up with the idea from an item that we have coming up for auction. Tell them about it.
Oh, it's a granny fortune teller.
The fortune teller machine.
Yeah, a coin-op fortune-telling machine that is in our November Fall Classic. And that's, of course, what Susan was. She was a...
Wasn't the granny, though. I was Suztar. A take on Zoltar. And... gave everyone the predictions for their future with the cards from the fortune teller machine. It was fantastic. I made money on this costume. People were putting dollars in the slot for me to give them their future prediction there.
And here's something else that's interesting. If anybody knows Susan out there, you know you have to call her Susan. She can call herself Suze. She can be Suztar, but don't you dare do it. It's Susan.
Oh, my gosh.
So, hey, let's talk, though, about the interesting Halloween collectibles.
Halloween collectibles are extremely valuable today. I did a little research on it, and they said that the antique part of the Halloween collectibles are rare and very expensive to buy, but they're very valuable.
You know, here's what kills me about so many of the Halloween collectibles. You know, a lot of items are made of paper mache, and I mean they were cheaply done at the time. You know, back at the turn of the century and into the tens and teens and 20s and everything. I mean, it was just, you know, more or less a junk item. So first, they didn't survive, but more importantly, is these things show up all the time. I keep warning everybody. They show up at your garage sales and house sales and everything for a quarter. A pumpkin made of paper mache that would have been a kid's
you wouldn't think
candy
anything
basket.
of it.
Yeah. and these things can be worth hundreds and many times even into the thousands of dollars.
Wow. Like the candy containers, you had mentioned that. If they're made of plastic, resin, or paper mache, those are valuable, believe it or not.
That they are.
But they have to be old, vintage and antique, of course. And you know what else is really valuable are costumes made by Collegeville and Dessart. They were made in the 50s and 60s. Thousands of dollars for some of those costumes. So go check in your attic, folks. In your basement.
Yeah, and that's what's so much fun is still finding stuff in the attics and basements that all over the Chicagoland area. I know this show goes all over the country, not just Chicago, but we focus on Chicago because that's where we do so much of our
plus we
finding.
want people to come out to our location in Union and bring it to us.
Sure.
We want to see it. So some of the other Halloween items that you might have at home are animatronic props. Those are extremely valuable. Of course, very expensive to buy also. And movie posters from the horror flicks in the 30s and 40s.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and we love movie memorabilia in general. All of that sells really
That we
well.
do.
So go check it out and see what you have. I'm looking for somebody out there who might have one of those really, really old noisemakers. Remember those? They used to use those.
Oh, yeah. That in itself is a whole collecting field.
Is it
There
really?
are people that just collect early rattles and noisemakers and these type
Wow.
of things. But, Halloween, again, goes into so many different antique fields like postcards.
Yes.
Postcard collecting is
Vintage
still
postcards.
so hot. And,
Yeah, but we sell a lot of those in groups of 100.
well, very often, here we're not trying to set you up for disappointment. We're always, of course, here sounding the alarms about how expensive things could be. But so often when you send us, what you have, we're always saying, send us pictures and everything else. I feel like we're disappointing so many people because even, like I say, there's very expensive postcards, but normally postcards are sold as many as 100 or 200 at a time
Right.
for like $25, maybe getting an
But there
opening bid.
could be a treasure in one of those, too. We don't cherry pick them. We just group them together.
But that's what I'm always telling people out there is you wouldn't throw away a lottery ticket without checking the numbers. So that's why it's so important to get a hold of us, and we'll do the research for you, and we'll tell you what your things are worth. There's no charge for what we do for you.
That's right. And you can always call us at 815-923-7000, and we'll give you directions on next steps.
And
but
the website.
And the website at DonleyAuctions.com. Speaking of disappointing people, a lot of the emails we get are about furniture. And usually I say, no, thank you. We're not selling furniture at this time. There's just no market for it. However, tell them what walked in the door the other day. I about died.
It's so funny
I
because
thought we weren't selling furniture, but look what came in.
we tell people all the time, in most cases, furniture is not worth your time.
At auction.
No.
Right.
But a gentleman just right down the road in Marengo, Illinois, brought in a love seat and a chair and dropped it off to us. And it is just beautifully carved furniture. It's just outstanding. What is it, tarpon?
Carpet?
Carpon.
Carpon
And
furniture. It's upholstered and it's got carved wood armrests
and backs, yeah.
and backs on it. And
And-
everybody was just Googling all over
Well,
these things.
they should have, because these pieces will definitely sell in the thousands.
Really?
Yes. So
I see
again,
it as just furniture, but I don't know enough about those types of items. So that's what we want to educate our listeners about.
and even people like myself who are old-time antique collectors who don't get mid-century modern, there is plenty of furniture from the 60s and 70s
right.
that I look at and I say, who'd want that? I mean, that's what I grew up with. I don't think of it as old or collectible or, desirable, but this mid-century modern has a life of its own.
Yes,
oh
it
my
does.
God.
Yes, it
and,
does.
And again, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars for pieces. So
If you have anything like that, please send us photos. We would love to see what you have. And you can send those photos in an email to consign@DonleyAuctions.com.
yeah, but do understand that probably one in 50, with the amount of phone calls and emails that we get, maybe 1 in 50 people who contact us really have anything that has
and
any value.
furniture-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, furniture-wise.
But that doesn't mean don't do it. Get a
Right,
hold of
the
us.
younger generation they're not collecting or buying armoires and dining room sets and things like that. We get a lot of questions about the big, heavy-duty furniture. We just don't have a market for it, do we?
Right. It still sells, but not at the prices
That's
it did
true.
10 years
Yes.
ago.
That's right. So sorry if we're disappointing you on those emails, but send us anything you have in the Halloween collectible arena for sure. I'd love to see that, especially like those little witch dolls and anything that's like decorative that goes on the wall, those blow molds. Those are highly collectible, and jack-o'-lanterns made of paper mache. So go check it out. You know what I want to talk about next, Randy? We'll probably bring it up in the next episode, is something else that came walking in the door. Actually, I think you guys went and picked it up in St. Louis. I'm only going to give them a little teaser on that. So you have to stay tuned in our next episode about an item that came from St. Louis. I'll tell you about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
My
right?
goodness. Thank you for reminding me.
That's right. But the other thing we want to add that just came in, we added an item to our November Classic, which is coming up November 16th through the 19th. Mark your calendar. Is a sport coat worn by Jack Ruby. We're putting it in with the JFK collection and everything there. It's a 2-button jacket, fully lined, comes with a notarized letter. The importance of provenance is everything. I know we mentioned that before.
It really is. Otherwise, it's just an old suede sport coat. But
that's right.
It's got a letter from his brother, Earl Ruby.
Earl Ruby said that he left it in his will.
Yeah.
So,
and, of course, we all know Jack is who assassinated Oswald.
That's right. Did you know that he was diagnosed with cancer and died of a pulmonary embolism in 1967?
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he died in prison, but he died of a disease in prison. Interesting. All right, stay tuned. We'll have more interesting stories for you in our next segment. And I'm going to tell you about what came from St. Louis. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donnelly Auctions, here with Randy Donnelly. And I just wanted to mention one more thing about the Halloween topic we were just on in our last segment, how valuable some of those antique collectibles are. Did you know the average person spends over $100 a year on candy for
on
Halloween?
Candy in general.
Yeah, just on candy.
Well, you know, isn't it funny you bring up candy, because candy itself, vintage candy, folks, is a big time
Well, and you had mentioned that.
collecting.
You mean the actual candy, not the containers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The vintage candy itself, especially if you find a whole carton or box of stuff from the 20s and 30s. In fact, you're going to love a quick story. This is... You know, a lot of people think it's urban legend, but the fact is, apparently Wrigley Chewing Gum Company had an archive full of all their first, packages of gum and candies and everything down in the basement of the Wrigley building. And at some point, somebody made the decision to clear this whole storeroom out, and the people assigned with the task of moving it out said, well, wait a minute, we can't just throw this in the dumpster. So they took it home and ended up, it's my understanding, they ended up selling it for, I'm talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No kidding.
Piecing all this candy out to big-time collectors. And there were people coming in from different states that I was aware of to pick up huge amounts of vintage gum and candies and everything that they had bought and couldn't believe their good fortune that this stuff would turn up.
I'm just looking for some razzle dazzles. Anybody have any?
Yeah, I'll razzle dazzle you.
We'll see what kind of emails we get now on Halloween candy. Can you sell my candy corn? Well, if it's antique, maybe,
What
right?
is your favorite candy, by the way?
Twizzlers.
Twizzlers, okay.
Oh, my gosh. I asked you that earlier. How do you not know
I
that?
don't consider that Halloween candy.
That's an everyday candy.
Yeah.
I do like Snickers, though.
So we talked about the Jack Ruby coat coming in.
Yeah.
And,
The same
these
guy
things
brought in these
happen
items.
because we mention on the air what we're looking for.
Right.
And I so appreciate the fact that you're out there listening, because here we have this great Kennedy collection, the assassination collection coming up in our November auction.
Right. It'll be on Friday night,
This was
the 17th.
Monty Lutz was, one of the investigators for the Warren Commission. He redid the findings of the ballistics and everything. We have all this great collection, and we're mentioning it on the air that we're looking for more Kennedy. And not only did we get the Ruby coat come in, tell them what else.
I'll tell you about this. It's a November 21st, 1963. When was Kennedy assassinated?
In 63.
I know. So this had to be right before that. a Kennedy speech. It's a 2-page press release that was delivered by President Kennedy in Houston at the testimonial dinner for Congressman Albert Thomas at the Coliseum. And these were handed out to the press before the speech. It's double folded. It's in very good condition with some rust stains, obviously by the staple. But there's a COA from Nate Sanders Auctions, which is where it came from.
And this is, again, the real deal. I mean, it comes with provenance and everything. Imagine having an original Kennedy speech that was just days before this horrible, tragic event, which just changed everything in the world.
So that'll be up for auction on the same day as the entire JFK collection on Friday, November 17th. That auction, we only have 300 lots, and we're calling it the best of the best.
Well, that's a nighttime auction that we do. We run this in the evening because of the Chicagoland slot machine show that is a do not miss. It's a large show coming up in Lake County Fairgrounds. It's run every year. And we've been doing this show for 40 years.
A long time. Yeah, we partner with them and work our annual classics around that show because a lot of people flying in from all over the country set up at the show as dealers and buyers. And then they come to our auction Friday night.
And I'll say, not only all over the country, all over the world
yes.
They come in. So again, our November auction is 4 days, but the Friday night activity is quite an event. You don't want to miss this.
Our friend from the UK who sells slot machines will also be here. I told him Tucker misses him.
Okay.
So we've got a great event Friday night. We're even going to provide food for everyone that comes out. But the JFK collection will be on that Friday night. The auction starts at 5:30. We'll probably run till 11 p.m. So if you have any questions on any of that, please give us a call at 815-923-7000. Part of that collection that also came in with the Jack Ruby coat and the speech, try to say this fast, Jackie Onassis's items.
Jackie Onassis's items, okay.
Framed items, 5 pieces of memorabilia from the Jackie and Ari Onassis era. Includes a photo of Jackie, Aristotle, Caroline, and John. Oh, I haven't even looked at that yet. 3 newspaper articles and a card and envelope from the Onassis family expressing their gratitude for participation in the great sorrow of the death of his son, Alexander Onassis, who was killed in a plane crash. So that's another nice, it's all framed.
I mean, it's just incredible the history that goes through Donnelly Auctions. It really is. It's
you have to come.
You have to come and see this. The beauty is you're so close. You know, we're only an hour from downtown, and less if you're in the suburbs. So come on out and see us in Union, Illinois.
It's a live auction. We always suggest you come out live so you can actually see the items, check in the condition of it, smell it, touch it, see if it works, all on your own. We have experts on hand who can answer any questions for you as well.
You know, it's so funny that you would say smell it because the other
You're
day...
always smelling stuff.
You know, somebody was telling me that that's how they tell the freshness of leather. They actually always like to... They can tell vintage by the smell of leather.
Well, whenever you and I go out antiquing, you're always picking something up, smelling it, touching it, rubbing it.
Well, you
gotta
know what you're buying.
It's right. So come on out.
But you know, we're talking all the time about the fact that yes, you're listening, and I thank you for that, our listeners out there, because as we mention things, we're always telling you we're looking for more. And, of course, you've heard us talk about license plates and the story of how we have helped several widows out there with license plate collections where they were offered very little and we got them huge amounts of money, one being the #1 Chicago license plate selling for over $30,000.
That's right. It was a world record.
So what happens? Somebody... Well,
remember, I told everybody, stay tuned. We're going to talk about what's coming from
this is your surprise.
St. Louis. No, that's okay. I'm giving you the segue here. So we had an item come in. We picked it up in St. Louis and brought it here. Tell them what it is.
It is serial #1 or #1 license plate in 1910. And there's also another 1911, or is it 1912? I think it might be 11.
Okay.
So at any rate, it's #1.
Yes.
St. Louis #1 license plate. Going to go for, again, huge money. I'm sure it'll be another record setter.
And we just got it the other day, and already people are calling, so people know we have it.
That they do. Yeah, it doesn't take long for the
take long.
word to get around that it's at Danley Auctions. But
So when do you think we're going to auction that off?
well, what we're going to do is promote it properly.
Yeah,
you know,
we need a
we
few
owe
months.
it to you. We owe it to you. When you consign with us, we don't just sell stuff off quickly. We're going to promote the heck out of what we've got,
Right.
and get you the best prices for things. So if you have a run of license plates, a run meaning a lot of the same number in years, runs do very well. If you've got runs of plates or early plates, or I think you've got something for this. We're accumulating right now for our next big license plate
It'll
collection.
probably be early next year, I would think, because we're
It
going to
would,
need
but
2 or
that
3
doesn't
months
mean you've
to
got a
promote
lot of
it.
time. You've
no,
got to
so you got
contact
to
us.
consign with us now. Send us an email at consign@donleyauctions.com or call us at 815-923-7000. Speaking of license plates, I want to mention that we have some vehicles, cars and motorcycles, coming up also in our November Classic. That would be Friday, also the 17th. We have a 64 Buick Electra. That's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. But we have a 52 MG convertible, a 38 LaSalle, a 2003 Mercedes, and a 97 Jaguar. Wow. Great
Okay.
stuff coming up. And I'll mention the motorcycles later, too. But check our website at DonleyAuctions.com. The catalog is now available.
And consign your cars now, folks,
Right.
to
It's
Donley
a
Auctions.
4-day auction, so you got to come out. Don't miss it. Thank you for listening here on the Donley Auctions Hour. We're going to talk about lamps coming up next, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. Thanks for hanging with us through that break. I'm Susan, here with Randy Donley. We are the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, folks. You got to come out and see us for our annual November Classic coming up November 16th through the 19th. It is a live auction, and we're talking about some of the great items that we have in this auction that we want to make sure you know are valuable. And today we're going to talk a little bit about lamps.
A little bit about lamps, yeah.
Some are
because
good,
they're-
some are not.
Well, and there's so many styles of lamps. Everybody's always familiar with Tiffany.
Yes, we
Tiffany
did talk
this,
about that
Tiffany
on the
that.
show once. Mhm.
And when people say Tiffany style, that doesn't necessarily make it bad, because there's plenty of companies that did leaded glass work.
And they're beautiful. Who
Oh, my
wouldn't want
God,
it in
yeah.
their home? They're
Well,
very colorful.
and I'm not talking about even the modern ones. I'm talking about there's a lot of companies back of in the teens and that period of time that did Tiffany style work. I mean, with again the leaded glass. So it doesn't have to be a Tiffany to be a good leaded glass lamp. And even as you just pointed out, some of the modern, or what we would refer to as contemporary pieces, the quality of work is so high that even some more modern Tiffany-style lamps can still go into the thousands of dollars.
Right.
So you
That's
don't
great.
discount them because they're newer. But one thing that we do have in this auction in November is several reverse painted.
Yes.
And reverse painted, what an artwork this is, because they are painted on glass, curved glass, from the inside out. So the finishing layers of the paint job have to go on first. It's reverse painted, as if an artist, when an artist does a painting, they paint the base and then they keep painting on top of that. Well, imagine now you have to put your finishing strokes on very first and build it backwards from there.
I never knew that.
What an incredible art form that is.
I'm going to have to look at that shade when we get
Reverse
back.
painting.
It was beautiful. I
Yeah.
didn't think of it like that.
And they are so beautiful when they're lit. I remember my mother hating it at our house. My father, years ago, collected reverse painted lamps. And when they're not on, they're like a dark gray, almost like a gunmetal color. That's the way they show. So until you pull that chain and they light up, they don't look like much.
That's right. So in our photographs, too, we have to show them lit.
Yes.
You can really tell the beautiful paintwork on there. So can you tell us, Randy, a little bit about those Handel lamps? I think that's what those reverse painted lamps are.
Well, a lot of Handel made all kinds of lamps, and they made slag glass. They did some leaded work. They did reverse painted. But Handel is a name as big as Tiffany, and by many collectors feel that the quality is much higher than Tiffany. One of the little signature items, not only did Handel sign a lot of their work, they'll actually be signed in the rims and so on, but one of the kind of their signatures was the pulls on the pull chains, the little tassels at the end, are brass acorns. So when you look at a lamp and just glance at it fast, if you're at I'm always saying a garage sale or something,
flea market,
you spot those acorn pulls on chains, you know you've got a treasure there.
What a great note, yes.
Yeah. And then, again, Handel, they did so much work in lamps, but all Handels. And
some of them are marked and some of them are not.
Well,
and
that's
it. Could still be authentic.
When you see the name Handel on a lamp, almost 100% it's original. I mean, there's very few fakes that are marked. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, there's a lot of Handels that weren't marked. So that doesn't mean it's not Handel. You have to you do your research and put your nose in the books and learn the different styles and and look at the pictures and the descriptions and everything, and you can learn a lot.
And we do have one of our consultants is a lamp expert too. I believe if you did send us photos at consign@DonnellyAuctions.com or called us at 815-923-7000, I believe Louis could answer any of those questions about those lamps.
Well, and that's it. We have plenty of people on staff to help you for that very reason. Another company, Susan, that was phenomenal is Parapoint.
Parapoint. So you're saying Parapoint, P-A-I-R point, Parapoint puffy lamps.
It's like two words, but it's one word.
Okay.
Yeah, Parapoint.
Parapoint.
And boy, again, they started in the 1890s, most popular probably in the 1900s, and they made a lamp that was referred to as a puffy. And it was blown glass, that was done with bubbles, actually, air bubbles. Yeah. And they made these bulbous designs, and they're known as puffy lamps, but they're always geometrical. It's not like they're ugly, out-of-shape forms or anything. They're beautifully designed, and most of those are reverse painted also.
Nice. Well, they're very valuable, and that's the purpose of the Donnelly Auctions Hour, is to help you determine if you've got anything for auction. If you do, give us a call at 815-923-7000.
One more quick point. The shades are always valuable, but sometimes if you've got just the bases, not so much.
And the shades have to be good.
If they're broken, any value.
Not good there. So give us a call at 815-923-7000. We'll tell you what to do with any of those items you may have. Stay tuned for our next segment. I'm sure we'll have more interesting stories, huh, Randy?
That we will.
Here we are at the Donnelly Auctions Hour with Susan and Randy. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more of the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donnelly Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donnelly Auctions, here with my partner, Randy Donnelly, and we're going to be shedding a little more light on lamps.
Actually, folks, she stole that from our producer, Keith. He's the one that came up with that line.
Jeez.
We're not giving you credit,
Don't I get the
Susan.
big salad for that?
No, sorry.
All right, shed some more light on some lamps for us, please.
Okay. A few more types of lamps that are always popular are figura lamps, Susan.
Yes. We have several of those coming up in November.
My goodness. In the November auction, yeah. But if you have something at home in a figura lamp, traditionally, I mean, when they're bronze, they're really, worth more. But traditionally, they're made out of a pot metal, a slag metal of some kind.
They're heavy, though.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're very heavy.
That they are. And a lot of them ended up actually being put on the ends of newel post lights. Which is the end of a stairway, in case you're not familiar with a newel post. So when were some
of those manufactured? What year are the
again, all turn of the century. Keeping in mind, Edison didn't even invent the light bulb until 1879. Now imagine this. He invents the light bulb in 1879, but how do you power it? He has to design and build all the equipment to generate electricity because now we have a need for it. It's just incredible.
He's our hero. Thomas Edison is our hero, for sure.
He powers up all these cities, all by the 1890s. These cities were all lit up with, imagine how fast. How do you do that? Absolutely incredible, Thomas Edison. But so when you ask the vintage, 1890s, we start to see this. 1900, 1910 is when figural lamps were really most popular. But, lamps take every shape and form.
I mean, this is by my desk.
Isn't this cute as can be? It's an alabaster cockatoo. It's just a beautiful lamp that has an alabaster shade and a matching pedestal and everything. It's a lamp that we will be selling in November. But not only that, I mean, look at this, Susan, a hula lamp. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so tough to be able to describe some of what we're talking about to you on the air, because you don't have the visual. But imagine a lamp that is in the shape of a hula girl, maybe 18 inches tall. And this one happens to be bare-chested with a grass skirt on made of some type of fringe material. When you turn this lamp on, her waist rotates, and you see her actually doing the hula dance. So that was very popular back in the day. And then that was so popular that they actually made another lamp with a young cowgirl holding a rope around her so that when the lamp goes on, she spins a rope around her waist.
Yeah, I saw that. Those are so cute. There's 4 of those lamps coming up in our November auction. Again, that's on Friday night, November 17th.
Right.
But you know what's happening on the 16th, Thursday, is all of the other fantastic items we couldn't get in on Friday. So Thursday, starting at 10 a.m., are high-quality antiques and just fantastic vintage items that we just couldn't fit on Friday night. I've got about 550 of those lots ready for Thursday already.
Absolutely. So go to Donnelly Auctions.
Go to DonnellyAuctions.com. That's right, to see the catalog for Thursday, Friday. Saturday, want to talk about Saturday?
Well, Saturday is coins and
jewelry. And we have some art pieces and some sculptures.
Yes.
But I think like 300 lots of coins. If you're a coin collector, you're going to want to see this auction.
And I mean good coins.
Coins.
There are a lot of uncirculated mints, Carson City silver dollars. I mean, it's all there. And we have 21 rings from one gentleman in New York.
Yes, they're men's rings.
These men's rings that are custom designed with gemstones. Oh, my gosh.
They're beautiful.
What a collection.
And some watches, too.
But Susan, let's talk about what's going on right here now.
Oh, yeah, today. I forgot.
Today's Saturday, right here at Donnelly Auctions. We've got an auction taking place here. We've got overstocked. It's taking place in the parking lot as we speak.
Under the tent.
Yeah. And so
come on out to the Wild West town. We're at
exactly.
8512 South Union Road in Union, Illinois.
Now, this is live only. You can't go online. It's live only today. It's a one-day auction.
It started at 10.
10 o'clock, yeah.
10 o'clock, so
but
definitely plenty of time.
Still going on, and everything we talked about, lamps and, all kinds of furniture items.
Architecture, antiques, things that were abandoned, things that people didn't want to have shipped.
It's being sold.
And we got to get rid of it. We are out of
Auction.
space, so please come with your trailer and some extra hands to help you load the trailer and get this stuff out of here.
Our show wasn't earlier, so let's move on right now.
That's okay. So then we talked about Sunday, because the auction is 4 days long.
Now we're back in November. Okay.
16th through the 19th. On Sunday, we have the Playboy comic artist Marty Murphy and all of his original art boards and all of the pinup girls and framed items, sculptures, and storyboards.
This, once again, is an incredible collection because this is the original art, all original art, and you talk about provenance. This comes right from the family, from his nephew. Murphy's, was so well known in the Playboy world for all this comic art, and we have the originals for sale. All original, not prints,
Right, that's
not
on
copies,
Sunday.
coming right from the artist family.
My favorite item, though, on Sunday are the Hugh Hefner suits. What a great Halloween costume that would be. But these are the real things. You can't just go wearing that out somewhere. I thought you would be a great Hugh Hefner this year, Randy.
Yeah, monogrammed HMH.
Oh, my gosh. And we have photos of him actually wearing it sitting with the Playboy Bunny.
With Barbie Benton.
Barbie Benton, you're
Yes.
right. All right, so check our website at DonnellyAuctions.com for all of these things we've been talking about. You can even bid on our own website there, too. But don't go anywhere, folks. We've got one more bit of information for you. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour here on AM 560, The Answer.
The Donnelly Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donnelly Auctions Hour talking about items you might have at home that are going to be of value at one of our auctions. We would like you to check and see what you have at your house. If you got something good, like all these things we talked about today, it's very interesting. Give us a call at 815-923-7000.
You know, normally in this segment, as you know, Susan, we have my daughter Shauna on, who heads up the Donnelly Group. And Shauna is just...
Not here today.
No, because she's terribly busy. Actually, she's doing a closing right now.
Because the market is moving.
She said, just tell everybody the market is red hot.
Yeah.
So, again, if you've got property you want us to help with, we don't need to auction it. We sell property all the time through Shauna Donnelly and the Donnelly Group. And
again, you just go to our website at DonnellyAuctions.com, and there's a tab there that will direct you to Shauna's phone number direct.
But, you know, enough about that right now, because I want to jump into this charity auction that is coming up in November 11th, which is the week before our auction.
That's right. You can hire Randy to be an auctioneer for you.
And but you know what? We do very little charity auctions because we have to believe in them.
That's right.
We really we only work on charities that we 100% know and believe in. And Dr. Dan Alter from Barrington, Illinois, runs just one of the most fabulous charities, Susan, which is actually all about doctors going across the globe and helping people with basically preventable blindness. They do operations free of charge and all this.
Great cause.
But most importantly, it's all about, teaching local surgeons how to end the global preventable blindness, especially in the pediatrics, because there's so much that's preventable, and they do such a phenomenal job. And they have a charity auction coming up in November 11th at the San Filippo Estate. Who doesn't want to go there?
Oh, my gosh.
So not only are you donating money to this fabulous charity for your dinner, but you get to see the San Filippo Estate, which
it is a bucket list item, folks.
If you have not been there, you want to go. So this is just like a double whammy.
You get to get dressed up. You have to wear a tux. You're wearing a tux, right?
Well, I do, but you don't have to wear a tux. No, you just
it's a nice event.
Dress professionally. And
how do they get more information on that?
Well, you can go right to their website at just the number one, Focus, FOCUS.org, and that'll tell you everything. But we're also looking for donation items. We ourselves are donating an antique Edison phonograph that's going to work and play and have records and everything that you can buy, raising money for the charity. But if you have items, any type of items that you would like to donate to this fabulous charity, please go to onefocus.org and let them know, because we're going to be auctioning at both silent auction and a live auction for, they call this the Flight for Sight. And the theme is the greatest showman. What a fabulous location.
I'm going to need a costume for that for sure. But keep your eye on our calendar at DonnellyAuctions.com. We have auctions coming up every month. We have one today, the big one in November, and, of course, firearms and military coming up in December. And we're still taking consignments for firearms, so give us a call at 815-923-7000. I've said it so many times, right? But we would love for you to come out to Union, Illinois, folks. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donnelly.
And we'll see you at the auction.
Thanks for listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonnellyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonnellyAuctions.com.